is related to the Chinese, and also we call the cronies, the peoples who are working with the military officers. They run the business. It's not, the profit is for their family. It's not for the civilians. So the civilian armed groups, we call this the people, the Burmese people's folk, we call. Sorry. So they try to destroy all of this. Because our focus is very clear. We have to abolish the whole systems. It's not only for the military groups. We have to destroy their business, their ruling system, judiciary system, and another system. The whole mechanism we have to destroy is in order to transform our countries into the democratic system. So we know this is not, because this is not really easy. We know as our youth generation Z's, we call our assets. But we have to do it. We have to do it. If not, the situation is getting repeated again and again. Because the military top power in our country is already more than third or fourth already. So they were to control all of this. Not only the physically, the militaries, they were to control ourselves spiritually, mentally, physically, everything they were to control. Because according to our constitutions, it's alliance, heirs, everything is belong to the military. It's not true. It's belong to the civilians. It means that we cannot possess any resource in the country. Every resource is belong to the military. They are superiors. We are not nothing. Only the military, they are superiors. So they are hierarchies. They have the opportunity to raise a chance to manage to control everything in our country. So that is why we have to destroy. If you would like to the next generations to see the better future in our country, but we have to sacrifice. Use people right now, the generation Z's, actually their age, they should be in the school, in the university, but instead they are in the labor area to get a special military trainees to fight bias, to fight against the militaries. But right now the military trying to use several instruments, numerous strategies to arrest the doctors, teachers, and the parents of the generation Z's, because they cannot find the youth people. Mostly the youth people, they are right now, they are in the labor area already. Labor area, it means under control of ethnic armed groups. The military cannot go there, this labor armed groups, because some of the area, especially is in the current state, in my states, the ethnic armed groups is very strong. Both they can protect the civilian. Sorry. They can protect the peoples from they coming from the other areas. So that's where we used to call the liberal areas. There's so many people, more than thousands of youth people, they came to get the training. But half of them, they already got the trainings. Mostly, as long as they have complete the training, they return to the east in the other areas. So they used to use the bombings, attacks, the militaries. So right now in our countries, the situation is getting more complex. Another way is we also have to look at the geopolitics. Geopolitics is very crucial in our countries. So the roles of the Chinese and also the South Asians countries is so important. But is in our South Asians, we also have our principles, not interference. So they cannot interfere in our country's affair. But on the other hand, all the BOs, they have so many cases that they try to evolve, especially for the international, our national affair, especially politics. And also another, they use the term, you know, humanitarian. They also use the humanitarian assistance, but it is not true. They are trying to evolve and interference that our national affair. We can see the Chinese. The race of China is very scared. They try to occupants. They try to make the nations more complex so that they can enter these countries. They can control and also they can influence in those countries. So our country, right now the Chinese supported the ethnic armed groups, especially it allow Chinese borders. There are so many ethnic armed groups. They are very strong. They got the support from the Chinese, the militaries, weapons, everything's equipment. They got this ethnic armed groups. They got the support from China. So that's why the situations, the phenomena, the scenarios in our country is getting more complex because of the China's state supporting the militaries. We can see in the United Nations Security Council, whatever the Security Council member make a decision, they cannot make any decisions about our country. The representatives of the Security Council, they also decline this, read the statements, release the statements. They have the appeals for our country, but they cannot take any issues. Why? Because of the China's rations. Because the international involvement is so important, this is what I mentioned. For our country, our leader, national unity governments. So they try to get the diplomacy in the globalist level, but every time they try, they cannot get the achievements because of the China and Russians. They are still always block our representative government members. Right now in the UN, right now they have the conference, special conference, in order to make decisions. The case of Afghanistan and Myanmar, but our national unity governments cannot join these meetings, and also military governments, they are delegates cannot join this meeting. So I don't know how it's going on. Like you know, the wars, the international community, they also just decline, just read the statements, just so they have sympathy, apathy, it is so terrible, but blah blah blah. In the reality, they don't do anything. So that is why our national government, they don't really wait for the international communities action. We have to rely on ourselves. We have to stand on ourselves. So they declare the war against the military right now. But eventually, the community, international community, blame our government. Why you declare the war? Because our civilians, they are very frustrated right now. They don't want to stay under the military with these menace, with the safeguards, with the ideas. As long as they have their arms, they have equipment, they try to attacks the military. Right now, you see this. So many people, innocent people, has already killings, but we don't know. Yes, either James, either the people arrested. So many people has already arrested because we don't get any informations. They right now they arrest all the journalists. They don't allow the social medias platforms. They control everything. We don't have the privacies. Right now, I have the right now. I have a meeting with you. I talk about this. They already check me because as me, I'm already in the blacklist. I cannot go back in many countries. It's totally fine. I don't really it cares about this. So, but really it's about the peoples, the Generation Z, the youth people in our country. Why do they destroy their lives? They have the opportunity. Some people, they got the scholarships. They got scholarship for abroad. They cannot go out. They block everything, the internationals. They block the airports. They block the migrations office. They arrest these people. And also the hospital right now that we have to struggle a lot of COVID-19 in our country. We don't get any medicines, either pharmacies, either hospital clinics. Even you are sick, you don't get any medicines. There is no medicine, there is no sufficient eaters. Other country, even though they blame their government, at least if pharmacies and clinics, they get them elderly medicines. In our country, we don't get anything. Another one is healthcare providers. They arrest all healthcare providers. They put it in jails. There is no people who can take care of the patients, the people who are sick. So that is a COVID-19 actually in the realities. So many thousands of people have already died without getting proper treatments, especially the older people, the youth people. As at least they have the opportunity, they have potentials to survive if they get any tiny treatments. But right now, they all stand. Before we dance, if you get any the medicines, any the treatments from healthcare providers, we are satisfied to get that, whatever. But right now we don't get anything. We don't get any care look after. We are dead. It is not totally acceptable. That is why our youth mostly we try our best. We use so many ways to try to abolish the whole mechanisms in our country. We don't want to see that anymore in our country. We were trying to destroy the whole system of our lives. It doesn't matter the whole country. If the whole country was destroyed, we are okay. We will restart the new nation, the new country, the new people. Yeah, and we also have faced so many challenges in our countries. On the other hand, in this country, the whole country is right now the country I'm living here. They are so discriminated country as well. Right now, we don't have our government. How can we expense our passport, our work permits? So they blame us a lot. They arrest so many the migrant workers. They also state that your passport have already expired. You have to extend. How can we respect? We don't have any government right now. We don't have the systems. We don't have the people who have passed. How can we go to the embassy to extend our passport? right now, if if we look at the human rights as aspects, they also have to consider about us, about the struggles we have faced now. Right now, either here, they don't have the legal documents. They cannot go outside because of the lockdown restriction, and also the COVID regulations. Here, so many issue they have faces. We understand, but we are not the citizens of this country, so we don't get any assistance for that. This is totally fine, but don't arrest us, don't ask the money for us, please, because we don't really have too much economics at the moment, as long as we don't get jobs. So yeah, I think there's so many issues here we face it, not only in our country or another issue is that this rainy season, this the monsoon seasons. There's so heavy raining. The whole village was destroyed. And the elderly people in the village was killed. The civilian have to remove it. It's because the eternal displacement. They don't have anything to carry to bring their property, so they don't have any protected area, protected items where they lease from their village. So they also feed the another things, the weather's impacts, and also the insufficient food, their security, the safety, the health. Some of the internal displaced areas, I got the news from my friends. So many people was affected by the COVID-19, the crowded areas. So it's very it's terrible. So many others, more than thousands of thousands with deaths. This spring revolutions, but I cannot, I cannot. It's imagine how it's going on for the future in our country. But we try our best to get to lead this positive, but we are preparing for the next negative results. It doesn't matter. Okay, this I share just only the briefly. Yeah.
Thank you for that updates, ATL. It's always very difficult to hear how close you are to some of these problems that we're hearing about.
Yeah, that's where I have to present or start about this our countries. I feel so emotional. Say sorry.
Has SAW been seeing more refugees coming across the border? Has
we cannot. Yeah, we cannot. As for us, we can use the refugees as the migrants, but in the Thai governments, they use the people try to try to spread the news, try to spread the disease. The people, they call it tributary issues. They blame our peoples a lot. That is why every day they arrest the people's escapes from Burma along temple borders. So as long as they got arrested, they arrested so many leaders. So they says you are committed by these regulations. You are committed by these regulations. So the people they escape from the difficulty. So they came here. They face another difficulties. So because they came here, they are hope to get jobs. So they borrows or they rest the thousands of monies for other people in order to use for the transportation into the Thailand. So when they arrive Thailand, they got arrested. There are deaths, there are issues in Burma, and also they have to stay in the jails. Yeah, this is the issue. Yes, the issue here. So many issues. It's not really. It's not talk about all of this. So I just share for the briefings. If you have for the later or for we will have the Q&A questions. If you have more questions, you can ask.
Sure. We also wanted to find out a little bit more about what's been happening at Saul. So have the students been able to return to classes? How are the English conversations? Like, how do we want to do that? Like, what was the feedback from that as well?
Yeah, they are so I can see they are so excited to get this English class, so they get more confidence. I have observed. So they also this morning they also sorry, they also came to ask me when they are going to have class again, because they got this. They said they got this the new for use. Yeah, you have the 2 week two week per class. So that is where they asked me why so they are going to restart the class again. But for the organizations, more of our staff, we got the CV vaccinations. For the first test, for the second test, we will get this month on 29 stable. As for the children, some of the adults, more the age over 80 years, they also got the vaccinations. For the younger one, because right now in Thailand they are not provide this the vaccinations adults, the age adults, under the 80 years. So for the everyday is we are staying the survives if we measure the whole the organizations, but like we also have the some of the challenges, the difficulties, especially for we also have the COVID-19 measurement in these areas, the transportations and others. Yeah, we also have this kind of obstacles, but so we can figure out it's not a huge issue for our organizations. Yeah,
that's good. One quick thing, ATL, we're going to have the meeting's going to end in 5 minutes. So if you get kicked off, just join again from the same link. This isn't a Zoom account, so if that happens, just jump back on.
Sure. You have set the link, right?
Sorry?
It's the same link.
Yeah,
Yes, it's in the chat.
Cool. I will rejoin it.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think next we wanted to talk a little bit about what you wanted to see from our GlobeMed chapter this year. Is there anything different? So PAF as well, like, are there any updates that we want to make? I think we're still aiming for $10,000 to $15,000.
We're still aiming for $10,000 to $15,000 by the end of the school year. So by next spring, we hope to have our standard amount for the CHOP workshops. But along with that, how have the grants been going? Because that might affect how we fundraise. How has that grant application gone so far, ATL? Hello?
ATL, can you hear us?
Oh yes. For the grants, actually for the whole documents, I have already I think that is where I also would like to discuss with you for this one. So are you going to rest for us, or do we have to rest the whole applications?
So if you give us the information, then we can write that for you and we can submit that for you. I know you were talking about designing your own program for the youth. So once you have that a little bit more fleshed out, then if you get that to us, we can make the application for you.
Okay, cool. Because there's my supervisor, she also asked me to finish this grant applications as well as possible.
We can set up a separate meeting with you then if you want.
Yeah,
just
sure.
for that grant.
Yeah, I think you can say other meetings for the only the specific discussion about our grades. So yeah, we discuss to finish. Yeah.
Would the same time next week work for you? So 8 a.m. on next Thursday?
The next Thursday is okay. Let me check. So yeah, I will let you know. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But has there been any changes to that program? Have you come up with any new ideas for it? Is there anything you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, like I mentioned, this program is very crucial for us, because right now here the people, the migrant learning center here, it is not really sure they cannot reopen again, because it's the youth here, especially it's time for them to get the better education, the proper education, proper learning. But because of the political situation in Burma, the legacy of the COVID-19 impacts, the migrant learning center, they have already closed almost 3 or 4 years already. Like the migrant people, they migrate place to place based on their occupations. Even they are the children, also have to follow their parents. Right now, the migrant learning center is blocked. So the people here, the youth people, they don't have any place to learn for. So it means that they don't have access any learnings with these years, not much nowadays. But for the Thai governments, Thai public school, they use the technology platform to open the school by online learning. It is totally just, even though it's not really effective, it is the situation is more better than the migrant learning center. I think the previous weeks 2 or 3 migrant learning center, the whole children's either either shelter affected by the COVID-19. So the local authority, local governments blame the migrant learning center committee. So why the migrant learning centers don't have the strong management, strong regulations, strong instrument to prevent the COVID-19. So they blame us a lot. That is, the situations of migrant learning center. It's not really it's not leading to any sure any for the future. That's where the project is very crucial. Projects also have meet with several the community leaders, community organization leaders. I also mentioned this about our futures projects. If we got this projects, I'm going to do some things about the youth peoples. And so for the launchers, 1 year, 2 years trainees, capacity building, we will train them. We provide this special trainings in order for them to use either in the futures. I also hope this grants are released. We try to get the bank to get this grants. This is very significant for this for